Hello everyone and welcome back to It's Personal. I am Mona and today's video is a little bit of a basic color theory for beginners. I wanted to create a project that was simple enough to have it be aesthetically pleasing, but also something practical you can put up on your wall or have in a file close by, especially when you're starting out and you don't know how all this color theory things work. I'm just going to keep it basic today. The supplies used in this video are from PrimeArt. It's their gouache range. I used a lemon yellow, the crimson red lake, and the ultramarine blue. After I swatched out all the watercolor supplies I had, the gouache supplies I had, and I got to a point where I was like, okay, this is the medium I use the most. This is the version of the gouache paints I use the most, and it's the one on my palette. So let's use those primary colors to create the color wheel. So you'll see what I did. I started off with swatching out the three primary colors first: yellow, red, and blue. Or in this case, your lemon yellow, crimson red lake, and the ultramarine blue. And after this, we are going to go over to our secondary colors, which are mixed by using our primary colors. So first off, we're going to do the orange, and that is a combination between the yellow and the red. So I try to make it as even as possible, and I mixed quite a lot of the color because I know I'm going to reuse it again to do our tertiary. That's a tongue twister this morning. Tertiary colors in a little bit, but first we're going to do the yellow, and then after which we're going to do, we're doing the purple or the green next. I can't remember what's in the middle. It's going to be the purple, I think. I'm mixing the purple next, which is a combination between your red and your blue. And that is I think because of the ultramarine I used, that purple it's a rich color. I love it. In this video, I'm not going to mess around with using whites to lighten colors or use black to darken stuff. That is a challenge for a new day and another time. But today I just wanted to focus on showing you guys the difference between, or how you mix primaries, how you get secondaries, and how you can get tertiary color mixes. And then also something really cool I want to talk about in today's video is a little bit more on how color harmony, for example, works. I've got a couple of points I wrote down, and the first thing is complementary colors. Now, complementary colors are the colors you get opposite each other on the color wheel. So a complementary color, if you look at this image for this project, for example, is yellow and purple are complementary colors because they are opposite from each other on the color wheel. Let's say, for example, blue and orange, they are complementary colors to one another because they are opposite from one another. The same goes for red and green. Now, why would you use those? Because they give you complementary colors, give you bold designs. So you would rather, if you want something to pop out or stand out, you will use those colors. Just to get back to the mixing I'm doing at the moment, we are busy now with tertiary colors. So basically that is when you mix a primary color with a secondary color. So in that instance, I used the orange I already had, and I mixed in some more of the primary yellow to lighten it. And the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to use the orange, but I'm going to add more of the red primary color to it. So getting back to our color harmonies, another thing that is really cool, that is analogous colors. Now, I had to go to Mr. Google this morning because I couldn't get the pronunciation. My words are also not pronouncing this morning correct. And it's basically analogous colors are the ones that are next to each other on the color wheel. So for example, you take blue, then the colors next to it are its analogous colors. So a blue would colors that work well with blue would be the green and the purple. The same goes, for example, you want to use the yellow, the orange and the green would work well together for those. If you say, for example, you want to use the tertiary colors next to each other, then that that orange yellow, the red orange, and the color I'm going to mix next is going to be red purple. Those three colors would work well together because they are analogous colors. And I think that's kind of cool because when you look at a color wheel, then you can start to see which colors work well together. If they're next to each other, they are analogous. If they are opposite each other on the color wheel, they are complementary colors. But then you also get something they call warm versus cool colors. For the color wheel, the warm colors include yellow, red, orange. So basically your primary and your secondary colors are your warm tones. And then you've got your cool colors that are a green, blue, green, and purple. But there's always a but involved. But this is not something I'm going to get into this video. You can always make a blue warm or cooler, depending on what, how should I say this, what warm color you add to it. But if anyone is interested in that little bit of theory, we shall have to go do a lot of more research on, because there's a lot of questions I still have on it. Then I can do that. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see me do a video on warm and cool colors and how you can make, let's say for example, a blue color warmer, or a green color warmer, or a orange color more bluish instead of more yellowish. I don't know, something along that lines. But let me know in the comments if you guys want to see another video on that. But yeah, some practical tips for beginners. This is now according to my research this morning. If you're only starting off, start off simple. Don't do too many colors. Maybe start off with mixing some secondary, some primary and then secondary colors. For the last couple of weeks, I've really enjoyed, since I've done this video, I've really enjoyed just getting back to basics, taking those three colors, yellow, red, and blue, and mixing from there. I've discovered I can just use those three colors and get beautiful backgrounds. Just projects I've been doing with mixed media. Just last night I was working in a coloring book, and I wanted to do the background of the page just in some watercolors, just to fill it, because it was a big space with lettering on it. So I ended up just using some yellow and blue, and I used just the yellow and blue to mix the greens I used on that paper. I didn't use a separate tube or separate palette for it. I ended up using the blue and the yellow together to mix the green I used for that background, and it was so much fun. So play around with your supplies. Keep it simple in the beginning, especially when there's a lot to learn, and just start off simple. Use primary colors, secondary colors, mix them together, see what happens. Use complementary colors, like I said earlier, for bold designs. Use analog colors for subtle, cohesive palettes. If you're too scared to go too much out of the box, use the colors that go well with one another. Let's say, for example, those tertiary colors on screen right now, that middle, that dark green, it's in the middle now, the light green goes well with, but that purple color, the darker purple at the bottom, also works well. Those analogous colors, you can use them together because they were made and designed when you mix them to work well together. Choose limited color palettes, like I said, and use, when you've got a page, don't be afraid to leave white spaces open. I am a big culprit in that. I am someone that tends to murder white space. It sounds horrible when I say it, but yeah, that's something I really need to learn, especially when you work with mediums like watercolor, because the white on a page is like something you need to protect. And because when you paint, your white of your page, you can't get back. You can put white paint in certain places, but it's never going to be the same as when you just left the space in that area white. So don't feel the need to fill every inch of your paper unless you're like me and it's just a compulsive thing you have to do in life. Some things I've learned over the last couple of years, things that have really helped me in learning color theory. I'm no expert with color theory at all. I learn as I go, and I think it comes with a lot of time and experience. And when you play a lot with paint and your art supplies, you just learn things along the line and along the way that are just, they become second nature. I started off every time I buy a supply, and I still do it because it's fun. I would take my supplies, draw up a sheet, a swatch sheet. Now, basically, a swatch sheet is a page with a lot of blocks on it, in which you can write either the pencil numbers. If you're using pencil, sometimes they have like names on them or numbers. You can write the number down and then you color in those little blocks. If you've got paint, sometimes they have name on the paint tubes. You can write that down and then swatch out your paint color on that. Yeah, and keep those swatches for future reference. And when you are doing projects, for example, another nice tip I always use, and I did it last night as well when I was doing my coloring page, I have a little bookie or a little a notepad or something on my desk that I swatch out the colors I want to use. I grab the pencils I think I want to use from my stash, and then I color a little bit of it on the paper just to see if the combinations I want to use actually work together. Sometimes I swatch them out, I'm like, no, but I like this color, but I need a lighter tone in it. And then I go back to my pencils and I will go find another color that's a little bit more appropriate. And later on, I'm like, but I need a purple color. Then I go back and then I search for something in another color family, and then I swatch it out again. And then I'm like, and that's a way to keep cohesion for your pictures, when you can see all the colors you've used together, but you can reuse those same colors all over your project. But it also gives you practice in how to combine your colors. Yeah, and like I said, color theory is practice. Just figuring out what works for you is so very personal. This color theory, like testing I did on this page, is going to look different when you use different supplies. Not all reds are the same in different mediums and different supplies you use. It might differ a little bit in the color, but that is part of the fun of it. That is part of the fun process. That's why I enjoyed doing my little testing around color theory. But there you go, guys. That was the entire project. That was my little version of color theory. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I will see you guys in the next video. And if there is anyone that wants to see a little bit more on the color theory, maybe some additional explanation, you can drop it down in the comments below and I will see what I can do about those requests. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, goodbye.